I'm excited to share one of the most powerful tools out there with you. It's the power of visualization. And this tool is so potent, and I believe it's a great contributor to my healing back then. Because 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2020, and I was able to heal myself in less than 8 weeks. And one of the tools that I used for that is visualizing my healing. And this is no medical advice, I'm just sharing my personal experience. And what I've been basically doing is every morning and every evening I've been visualizing how I would receive the news from the doctor that I'm healed, that the recent scans of the brain show no sign of the tumor anymore. And then I would leave the hospital room, I would go outside and throw away my medication that I used to take back then. And me throwing the medication away was in a way like a symbol that this chapter is now closed. And my mom would wait in front of the hospital, and I would tell her the good news, and we would be so grateful and excited, hugging each other. And you know, this visualization was so powerful that oftentimes when I visualized, I was crying and I was having goosebumps all over my body, just being able to share the amazing news with my mother. And that's why also when you visualize, I recommend that you add your loved ones into the visualization, because then you feel those elevated emotions even stronger. And you know, I kept visualizing every morning and every evening, because first thing in the morning when we visualize, our brain is very receptive to changing. We're having still the theta waves when you come out of the sleep, so your brain is very easy to reprogram. And how it helped me to do it first thing in the morning is to immediately place my focus and energy where I wanted to go, towards healing. And I also did it almost right before going to sleep. Why did I do it there? Because also then your brain waves slowly start lowering again, going into the sleeping state. And I use that because then the last information that we give our brain is using it in the sleep to process it. So I knew when I use that window in the evening, my brain will use that information and reprogram myself. So for those 7 to 9 hours that I was sleeping, my brain basically processed my healing, or was processing in my nervous system, in my cells, in my body, that I was already healed. And yeah, 8 weeks later, I received the amazing news from the doctor that I'm healed, that the recent scans show no signs of the tumor. And of course, I've done also other things on my healing journey, but me visualizing my healing did few powerful things that I want to share with you. I've also recorded a full webinar on that topic. I will share it with you below, but just to quickly summarize it with you. You know, when we vividly imagine an experience like our healing, our brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and a real life experience. And we can use that to our advantage, because then your brain and your body, they start producing the same chemicals, the same physiological shifts and processes as if you are healed now. So me vividly imagining my healing created that my body and my brain started believing that I'm already healed. So what happened is that my cells started producing everything that would support me on my healing, and down-regulating everything that was making me sick. And you know, when I looked even deeper into that, top athletes, performers, artists, they are all using the power of manifestation, of visualization, because it influences your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and ultimately your outcomes. Also imagine when an athlete is visualizing how he 1,000 times scores the goal confidently. Imagine how he walks onto that court feeling that he already knows how to do it, because in his mind he has done it thousands times. So this helps you also reduce self-doubt, anxiety, and helps you focus where you want to go. And people always ask me, okay, how did you manage the fear during your healing? Because you got such a big diagnosis. One of the tools was definitely visualizing. Because I visualized every day, I knew where I'm going. I ended my day, I knew where I'm going. And this brings that clear focus, clarity, and confidence where you want to go. So what I recommend when you visualize is to create different scenes. Always when I create visualizations for clients, I recommend that they share with me different scenes that they want to visualize. For example, one scene could be that you receive the news from the doctor that you're healed. Another scene can be that you share the news with your loved ones. Another scene can be that you see yourself at the beach in your amazing dress, walking there confidently. It can be different scenes that you can use for visualizing whatever it is that you want to visualize. But for that you need to set clear, specific goals. And I also want you to add an emotion. Make sure to add a very elevated and high emotion when you visualize. So that can be, for example, joy or gratitude. You know, gratitude is such a powerful emotion, because it's literally the ultimate state of receivership. Because when do you usually feel grateful? Once you have achieved something. Once you have gotten something. And when you start feeling grateful now already for your healing, for your manifestation, your brain, body, your energetic field is thinking that you already have it. And when you visualize, always visualize in the present tense. Visualize in the here and now. Not that it's sometime in the future. Visualize that it's happening right now, or that it already happened. That's also a very powerful way to visualize. You can visualize that you have achieved something 6 months ago, and that you're telling maybe a friend that you have achieved it, it was so amazing. So you're shifting the timelines that way. I recommend to also find a comfortable, quiet space where you can visualize daily. You know, I always had the same corner, always the same chair where I was doing it. So I primed my body to know, okay, when I go to that spot, I will know what to do here. I also want you to engage all your senses when you visualize. Really imagine how it feels, how the smells are, how you see it vividly, how you can feel it basically in your bones, in every cell of your body. And don't be harsh with yourself if you, for example, have a hard time smelling things or a hard time hearing things. Each one of us has a different development of our skills, senses. So some people are more visual, other people can hear it more, other people can have different senses that are more active. Use what you got. You can also add meditative music, for example, to enhance the message. And I always recommend creating different scenes, like a movie. And those scenes don't have to make sense. You don't need to know how you got from being at home to then ending up on the beach. And make sure to really visualize daily. Use the window right after waking up, where you're still in that very receptive state, and right before going to bed. And take that energy that you got after visualizing into your day. Maintain the belief after your visualization. That means when you catch yourself, for example, that you say, okay, I'm not worthy of receiving that. That you reprogram that. In next modules, I also share with you how you identify those limiting beliefs that are coming up. Because let's say you visualize your ideal life and limiting beliefs are coming up. You're not worthy of receiving that. Or stay humble. Or who do you think you are? Those are, this is information and you have to use it and reprogram it. Go to the video with the limiting beliefs and start reprogramming those limiting beliefs. Everything is a limiting belief that is trying to hold you back from where you want to go, from your goals. Yeah, and I also recorded a very detailed webinar where I talk really in great depth about visualization. So this is just a summary of everything that I shared there, but there, if you want to go deeper, you can do that as well. Happy visualizing!